The views on this program do not reflect those of ONTV or its board of directors. Welcome to Oaa Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Terry.
Welcome to Oaa Now. Here I'm Sammy Terry, blogger of the Dragons Insider, blogger of the Sammy High School Sports Blog, and blogger of Inside the OAA, and one of the hosts between Termina's on Orion Neighborhood Television. I'd like to welcome our friends watching us on Orion Neighborhood Television, and also those hearing us on a local voice on SoundCloud. We got cameras this week.
Cameras again.
I got Ian Locke back after a week hiatus.
What do you think our decorations?
I think the decorations
so
look
bad?
really good. You know what I mean?
Little color.
Little color, you know.
In case you get real angry and you start throwing things, it hits the foam and doesn't break anything.
Oh, yeah. If you're like, unless you're a Detroit Lions fan, you're basically going
Oh,
like this right now.
boy.
Unless
Yeah. Well, is that true? Do you think Lions fans are just laughing, going, it's the same old, same old?
Yeah, it's the same old, same old.
No hard feelings.
This is the Lions we're talking about. This is the Lions we're talking about. Goodness gracious. I mean, they're like a team of false hope. That's what the Lions
I don't
are.
even know if it's false hope. It's the
false
same
hope. The same thing every year.
Well, being a Spartan fan, as you know.
Hey, Michigan State won over Rutgers.
Hey,
they beat Maryland. They're in the they're going to be bowl eligible. So be positive.
They're going to Ford Field.
Yeah.
Do they deserve a bowl? But living through John L.
and Bobby
Williams, I've been able to mature as a sports fan over the years.
I know you have.
Now, being able to mature, Sammy, that means I can step away from all that mess without getting angry. And I've brought in my view of the world and what life means because I can't take that stress anymore.
I know.
And the Lions?
Yeah.
Out the door.
Speaking of football playoffs.
But I'll take high school.
Of course. Speaking of football playoffs.
Never let us down.
We had 108 that was still in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was the CO Maples. They were in the state semifinal first time since 1997.
Wow.
They're not going to be.
Yeah,
they're not. They had their dreams fall short in the Division II state semifinal Novi High School on Saturday as they lost to Detroit Martin Luther King 60-17.
Yeah.
And they're in that matchup, of course. Maples had no answer for Maryland commit Penny Boone. He had 175 yards and 4 touchdowns. Freshman quarterback Dante Moore had 2 touchdowns. Marquin Lee had the 2 touchdown passes.
Had a game.
Yeah, they had a game. I mean, Seaholm really looked overmatched in this one with Detroit Martin Luther King with their athletes. But you really can't take away what the Maples have done this postseason, of course. With only 23 guys on the roster. That says a lot.
It was a heck of a run. I mean, did anybody see that coming?
I didn't see it coming, to be honest with you.
A lot of roadblocks. You think?
You think that they would? You think that roadblock would be in that district final against Groves?
Yes,
because Groves has had their number. They've beaten them. 7 straight in 6 years. I mean, for them to overcome that and to blow them out in the district final says a lot.
Absolutely.
Then they went on, beat Port Huron. Blew out Port Huron. That score was not as close as the score indicated. And then, of course, beat Sterling Heights in the pre-district. Nobody expected Seaholm to make this type of run. Nobody did.
No.
I mean, we were talking Division II, possibly Oak Park.
Yeah. Oak Park.
Possibly Groves.
Well, it was Oak Park most of the year.
Well, it was Oak Park most of the year because everybody was saying, this was Oak Park's best chance. But they ended up getting upset in the first round by Farmington. And then people are starting, okay, let's buy the Farmington Falcons. You know what I mean? Because Farmington was a team that had a very good defense.
Yes.
But their offense had experience, but their offense had questions, and that's showing their loss to Detroit University Detroit Jesuit. I mean, and then, of course, there's Groves. Of course, we know about the incident with Warren DeSalle that caused them to forfeit the game.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, of course, that upset that kind of really surprised the entire state was that Seaholm blowing out Groves 42-7.
Yes.
That was shocking.
Yeah.
And then, of course, nobody thought Seaholm would get to this point. Of course, they needed a win to make the playoffs at 6-3.
Yes.
They needed a win.
Yeah. We said this before. They were in playoff mode
After
2
Avenue.
weeks before anybody else.
Right.
Because there's must win, must win, must win.
And they end up getting a special run out of it.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately for them, they're not heading to Ford Field. It's Detroit Martin Luther King. They're going to be taking on Muskegon Mona Shores. Mona Shores had to go into Okemos and beat Wall Lake Western. You know what that score was? 57-56.
Whoa.
Need a 2-point conversion to win that game.
Overtime?
No.
That score in regulation?
Yep.
Yikes.
57-56.
Well, they can put up points.
Defense was really optional in that game. And here's the funny thing. Mona Shores did it with a backup quarterback.
Really?
They did it with a backup quarterback.
Wow.
That tells you how much faith they have.
Absolutely. A lot of talent, man.
Yeah, a lot of
speed. Well, they're good. I mean, it's a good team, right? Obviously, you get this far, and if you can take that many points on, wow.
Yeah. Wall Lake Western, they're not a bad team.
No.
They had a good quarterback in Zach Trainer, very good running. They had a great wide receiver, and I believe Hassan. I'm going to Northwestern next year. I mean,
wow.
Say the least, So now you got Mona Shores taking on Detroit Martin Luther King. Division I, of course. When you look at it, West Bloomfield lost to Belleville in a really tough game. 2 weeks ago, 27-22.
Yep.
Had a chance to win that game, but couldn't get by. But couldn't convert. Now you got Belleville. Of course. They took on Brighton, of course, and that was a heck of a game.
It was. It sounds like it was a classic matchup.
Well,
man.
Belleville's owned Brighton the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they one game was 40-35, and the other game was, I think it was, but it was really close.
Yeah.
But Brighton got the best of Belleville this time, and I think the difference in that game. They got him 22-19. That was the score of that game.
Close game.
I mean, they needed not a Hail Mary type, but like a huge fade touchdown, basically, over 2 defenders, with 50 seconds left in the game. Now Belleville gave Brighton a couple of good interesting breaks. They had a personal foul,
on that same drive,
personal foul, pass interference call, and interception that was taken away by a pass interference call.
Wow.
And
on the game-winning drive.
On the game-winning drive. And that led to their winning touchdown, of course.
Penalties will kill you.
It will kill you. It will kill you. And they were at the 16-yard line, and that's when the touchdown came.
Yeah.
So when you look...
you got to give it to Brighton, man. I mean, executing in those situations. All these kids executing in these tight situations.
And that's the thing.
Close
and that's the thing, and that's the thing. I think it's a big win for Brighton. Huge win for them. And then you got to look at the other side of the Division I finals, Davison, Sterling Heights, Stevenson.
Yeah.
That was a heck of a game. I mean, Stevenson was up by 2 scores on Davison. Davison came back and basically won that game 34-27 overtime. A lot of that has to go to their quarterback, Brendan Sullivan. He's had a good year at Davison, transitioning from wide receiver to quarterback. Of course, they had a guy named Cannon Hall there last year, but Davison, under Coach Jacob Wingar's, incredible run for them. Really incredible run. Now Davison's had to come back from deficits. Of course, they've trailed Lapeer, they trailed Utica Eisenhower, and that's a lot. And they trailed Stevenson.
Yeah.
So and they trailed Romeo. So Davison technically is the de facto MAC Red champion. So technically, because they beat 3 MAC Red teams, they beat Romeo, Sterling Heights, Stevenson, and Utica Eisenhower. Of course, I don't know if it would have been more interesting if it was a Lake Orion Davison game, but who knows? I mean, those two teams did scrimmage each other, but
if they're, the teams that are in are supposed to be there, right?
Well,
and you look at one thing, we were talking about the OA Red, and we're talking about
the white and the blue
and the MAC, but we're also talking about the MAC and comparing the
MAC Red to the OA Red,
yeah. And it's kind of moot, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's kind of moot now because you got to look at it now from this perspective. I mean, like now Davison. They're in the Saginaw Valley.
Yeah.
Saginaw Valley, south. had a really good year.
Yeah.
Great year. I mean,
do you think that whoever's the finalists at Ford Field, do you think this is as wide open?
This is as wide open
a
as
championship game.
Oh, yes.
On all these different divisions as we've seen in a while.
Oh, yes. I mean, like, and here's the thing. I mean, you really got two teams that are homegrown teams. In Brighton and Davison. I mean, like, these are kids that really don't have the Division I recruiting talents. I mean, both teams have at least one. Davison's got one going to South Dakota, and Brighton's got one going to Air Force.
Okay.
But these two teams are homegrown talents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't see a lot of the T word.
No.
Transfers.
You don't
right?
see a lot of it.
Not
now,
like we've seen in the
Davison
past.
did have a Grand Blake transfer in there, and
Okay.
Litchfield Fordham, but he fits the Davison mold. He fit the Davison way. And, you know, for me, if a transfer fits your style of way, basically like not getting a lot of hype, just like wants to be a team first player, you know what I mean? Then I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if he moves in the district, you know what I mean? Then I don't have a problem with it.
Because we don't see, I mean, sometimes we see those guys that are transferring over, and you're going, we know why.
Yeah, we know why.
Right? And they're coming in droves to different programs like we've seen in the past.
Right.
With these teams, we don't see that.
No, you don't see that. No,
right?
you don't see.
They're local kids.
They're local kids. They know the area. Everybody knows each other. They're great friends. They're like brothers. And I think this is where, you know, this to me is the first time you've had two hardworking teams going against each other since, I think I'm biased here, 2010. Lake Orion and Plymouth back in 2010. Of course, I remember those two hard knock communities going against one another. Davis and Brighton kind of reminds me a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You know, all the communities coming out, supporting your teams. Yep. You know, Davison had a very similar send-off with their parents, supporters, community.
Yeah.
Having taken 3 buses down to Troy Athens last week. I mean, that's just a lot.
It does. And, you know, this weekend is the finals down at
Ford
Field,
yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
A full day of football, sun up
well,
to
you
sundown,
got 2
right?
days. You got 2 days of it. You got the even
That's
games
right.
on Friday,
That's
odd
right.
games on Saturday.
Always watch Saturday.
Yeah.
Sorry, Friday.
Brighton and Davison it's going to be a really interesting game. I think that's going to be a really good game.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it because it's Davison we know about. I mean, they've been around for some time and making noise for a long time.
Well, Davison, you know, they have not been this far.
They've never been this far?
This is the first time ever for both these teams in the state final.
I did not know that.
I
was going to give Brighton the credit going, hey, welcome to the party.
Well, and that's the same thing with Davison. You know what I mean?
Is it more like Davidson? We've heard of them so long because they've had so much talent over the years, and they beat some big programs.
Well, Davison, of course. Let's remember, Davison. You know, this is a team that, you know, they had to overcome Oakland, Macomb County. They had to overcome the OA and the MAC. I mean, like, that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
Whereas with Brighton, they had to overcome Belleville. I mean, you know, Belleville's a team that, you know, has had everybody looks at Belleville and says, "Oh, we got all this talent. You know what I mean? But when you really look at it, you know, Brighton has really they wanted Belleville. I mean, Belleville's knocked them out of the postseason the last couple of years. So for them to do that to Belleville, you know, and it's basically like a with Belleville, it's basically like, okay, you know, Belleville before Jermaine Crowell got there, really was. They were struggling, really struggling. And then when Crowell got there from Detroit Cass Tech, you see Belleville starting to become this power. You know what I mean? Starting to become the state power. You know, then they get transfers coming all over the place over there, and then look what happens.
The T word.
Yeah. Then look what happens there.
Yeah.
And then when you look at a team like Brighton, homegrown kids, you know what I mean? Homegrown kids play with each other in the youth levels, middle school levels, get in the high school level. I mean, like in high school playing with each other. I mean, like, huge credit for Brighton.
Yeah.
Huge credit.
But it's cool to say, hey, there's going to be a new champion. 2 first-timers there.
Yeah, 2
first-timers. On the D1 side.
It makes it fun.
It does. And you see like a little sharing of the wealth. You don't see the same teams there every year. Or
no.
perennial state
perennial state
finals.
powers, yeah.
I like this. I think this is really healthy. I think it makes it more exciting, brings some more energy to the table.
Oh yeah, and I think both communities are gonna fill Ford Field up on Saturday. You got to look at Brighton. I mean, like Brighton, they're gonna fill that. They're gonna fill their section up. You know what Davis is gonna do. I mean, like, but when you really look at it on paper, talent wise, hard work, mental mindset wise, you really got to give an edge to Brighton in that mental mindset. But talent wise, quarterback wise, it's definitely Davison.
Really?
Yep, it's definitely Davison. When we look at it on paper, when you really look at it, I've got to give an edge to Davison on this matchup because, the quarterback. Now you have no wind, no air. No wind, which basically means your passing attack will be back in the full cylinders.
Absolutely.
Now, Brighton does have a good defense. They do have a very good defense. Let's not forget, this is a team. Well, I know how Brighton beat Belleville. You remember, we had a game on Orion with television. Lake Orion, Stony Creek first round game.
Yes. Stony Creek.
Remember that model? Remember that model?
Keep the offense off the field. And
that's what Stony Creek did to Lake Orion.
Yeah.
Same thing happened here with Brighton and Belleville. Same thing.
It works. Solid D. What's that mantra?
Time possession.
Well,
football.
Time possession, but
Slow
also
the game down.
defense wins.
Wins championships. So that's what Belleville was coming in averaging 44 a game.
Wow.
Davison comes in probably averaging maybe or over 40 a game as well. So when you look at this match, it wouldn't surprise me if Brighton tries to do the same game plan against Davison like they did against Belleville.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? It works.
It all depends on the big play, right?
Mm-hmm.
With teams that are looking for time of possession, you cannot give up the big play.
No.
The running game has to do its job. The O-line's got to be on point.
Right. Both teams got good running backs.
Absolutely, and you just cannot give up that big play.
No.
Turnovers. You cannot turn the ball over if you're looking for that ball control because it flips the field.
Yes.
Right? Because everything is moving a little bit slower. But I'm going to say, just for the fun of it, I have a really good buddy who is the marching band director for Brighton and has been for, should I say it on the air?
No.
30 years almost.
Beautiful.
Go Mikey. And so I'm leaning towards the Brighton.
You got Brighton over. Yeah. You got Brighton over Davison.
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna take Davison because, Davison and Lake Orion scrimmaged each other in the before the season started. I was really impressed with how much sportsmanship Davison players, the Davison parents, the Davison community was during that scrimmage. I was really impressed.
That's good to hear. That's awesome.
And I have a lot of respect for Davison. I really do. With what they are, the community they are, the athletes they have.
Yeah.
I got a ton of respect for Davison. The reason why I'm going with Davison in this game is because they have a running back in Smith, Kobe. I think his name's Toby Smith. Who's gonna have? I think that he's gonna be a difference maker. I think it's going to be a close game.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a 14-10 ball game.
Ooh, that close.
But I think at the end of the day, I've got to take Davison because they've been battle tested. But so is Brighton. So
right,
I'm gonna take.
It's gonna be a great game.
It's gonna be a great game.
Yeah,
be a really great.
I don't think it's gonna be a 3-2 shootout like we've seen a couple years ago.
My goodness.
That has to go down as one of the ugliest finals in history.
That was a low-scoring game. Defense.
It couldn't be any lower.
It couldn't be any lower.
Unless it was 2-0.
Sure.
It was crazy.
Why not? And that was when 208 teams won the state championship.
Yes.
The Clarkson, West Bloomfield. I remember that one.
Yeah, that was
a heck of a game.
It was a shock. That was a shocker.
Yeah, it was a surprise. But then, of course, you've seen teams have been to the state final before. You have Harrison that's been there.
Yeah.
You've had Lake Orion, Clarkston, Oxford's been there. Troy's been there. Adams been there.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a good transition.
So now
we know who's been there.
we know who's been there.
Who do you think next year in the OAA could be
Woo.
pushing the boundaries?
I wonder.
I know what you're going to say.
But when you look at the recap of the OAA,
Yeah.
let's recap the OAA first before we look at next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll also do the same thing with volleyball.
Yeah.
Because volleyball concluded their season on Saturday.
Yep.
You look at the OAA in general.
Just
a lot of people said it was an odd year, really odd year.
Strange.
Clarkson missing out in the playoffs, first time in 16 years. Of course, Lake Orion getting back for the second year in a row. West Bloomfield win the red. Oak Park won the white. Had a really shocking first round playoff back at the Farmington. North Farmington won the blue for the first time since 1978.
Yeah.
And then Farmington, of course, having a good run. Seaholm's run has been really impressive. Groves, of course, making the playoffs as well. Adams making the playoffs. Stony Creek getting in the playoffs first time since 2014.
Yes.
Just a lot of
some coaches stepping down at the end of the season.
Coaches stepped down at the end of the season. I want to look at their storylines heading into next year.
It's a huge one.
There's gonna be a lot of storylines heading in next year.
Absolutely.
When you look at 2020, now you're gonna have the playoff format change a little bit.
Yeah.
Because now the 6-win component's gone. They're gonna really value your strength of schedule. So if you have a tough schedule, you're gonna likely be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So basically, the storylines heading into 2020 is who is the best team in the OAA heading into next year. And for me, obviously, it's West Bloomfield because of who they got back. Donovan Edwards coming back. They've got some linemen coming back. I mean, they've got Mikhail Elam back. I mean, I'm curious to see who the quarterback's going to be. I mean, yes, Donovan Edwards has played some quarterback. So, but I'm curious to see where Coach Ron Bellamy's going to see how he's going to fit that role and how West Bloomfield's defense going to be with the departures of Cornell Wheeler, Makari Page, especially in that secondary. So when I look
at some of the teams that struggled this year, is that just a one-off?
Is that just a one-off? If Clarkson gets everybody back, then this should be a team to keep an eye on because you look at what the Wolves have. A young nucleus. You look at a running back in Ethan Clark.
Very good.
You have a good quarterback in Mike DePillo. Then of course that's not mentioning Spindler, Dillinger, Haas.
Seems like those guys have been here forever.
Yeah, and they're going to be seniors. I mean, so Clarkson, they're due to make a bounce back year. What's going to happen at Oxford now? Of course, that's a storyline heading into next year.
That's a complete.
Right, Bud Riley stepping down.
With Bud going down, or stepping down, I don't see them coming back with that traditional offense.
They're going to be a little bit of a different offense. I mean,
you'd have to.
They're going to be a little bit of a different team, of course, when you really look at what Oxford has been for the past. How
long has he been there?
Almost 30 years. I mean, almost 40 years. I mean, they've always been a pound the rock team. I mean, so I'm curious to see where athletic director Jordan Ackerman at Oxford is going to go with this.
Stay in house, go outside.
If he stays in house, goes outside. If he goes outside, completely reboots his whole system. I don't know what's going to happen with that Oxford team. And then you really look at, if you go in house, you know what I mean? You're going to have to deal with the coaching transition. You're going to have to deal with the transition.
Because I know the fan base up there, very intense.
Yes, they are.
The community of Oxford loves their Wildcat football.
Yes, they do.
And so, how will they react? We know this. There's politics involved everywhere at all levels of sport. But could that come into play with the selection?
Maybe that could come into play. Maybe. I mean,
I hope it doesn't.
I hope it doesn't.
Make a choice for the kids.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at, and then of course you got to look at the other storyline besides that over at Oxford. Stony Creek's another team to watch next year.
Yeah.
And Nick Merlot's done a wonderful job at Armor Up Culture. To be his third year going to Stony Creek, especially if you have teams that are heading into your third year, coaches heading into your third year, you have something special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look what happened at Lake Orion.
Yes.
I mean, with John Blackstock. You look at...
And he started kind of slow. I mean, people are questioning, going, what's going on? Third year happens?
Yeah.
Playoff.
Third year happens. You You have multiple home games in the playoffs. I mean, like, and then you look at what Stony Creek did, getting in the playoffs first time since 2014.
Yes.
They got a lot coming back. This Stony Creek team's going to be very scary.
Yes.
They're
I mean,
gonna
if you just to remind the viewers and listeners, Stony Creek. I mean, all of their losses this year, what was it,
Playoff
under
teams.
10 points?
Yeah,
and
playoff
against
teams.
all playoff teams.
Yeah, against all playoff.
And they played them tough and had a chance to win in every one of them games.
Yes, they did. Even their game against Lake Orion.
Orion, it came down to what? One broken play, run and play, take it 76 yards.
Yep.
A couple other.
The Groves
little
game, that was the
things.
game that gave that one away. The home game, we should have won that game. But I really like what Nick Merlo's done over there at Stony Creek.
Yeah,
I think that's a team you got to really watch for next year.
And they have their nucleus back, correct? I
Yes.
mean, they've got their. I mean, that's.
They do lose Zach Denna, but their nucleus is back. You have the running back and Cameron Buford back. You're going to have Ryan Eckhout back, the quarterback. They're going to have their receivers are outstanding. I mean, their tight end's good. I mean, like, their offensive line is going to be really good.
Yeah.
You got Eisenhart there. You got Jordan there. I mean, like, my God, they're going to be good next year.
I know one thing: no one's going to want to play him.
No one's going to want to play him.
Right.
But I'm curious to see how the strength of schedule component is going to work.
Yes.
Because you got to play a ridiculously tough schedule if you want to make the playoffs.
Especially if you're in the 5-win territory.
Especially if you are because they're not considering strength of wins anymore. The 6-win component's gone.
Yes, I know. But if you have 5 wins and they're against cupcakes.
Right. But even a team with a losing record can make the playoffs. If you play a strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean,
okay.
If an OA team is playing a MAC team,
you
know what I mean? Think about how that's going to do. Or if you're a Saginaw Valley team playing an OA team.
You think with someone with four wins and the rest of their losses, they're all against good quality teams?
Absolutely.
They can get in?
Absolutely.
I don't know about that.
It's all going to come down to mathematics. That's what it's going to come down to.
Oh, that's why I got into broadcasting.
It's going to come down to mathematics.
I don't want to do math.
It's going to be hard. Life?
Well, it's going to be, like you, to steal your phrase, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, be really interesting.
Because, I mean, when's the last time they fiddled with the formula? Long time ago.
Long time.
Right? So it's new territory, and, teams like like Clarkston only had
3 wins, but their losses came against.
Yeah, but they also were short a game, but they eventually got one.
They eventually got one.
Some of the teams that may not have
them.
That could pay
painfully.
For those guys.
Yeah, it could be really painful if you play that type.
Farmington, right? Farmington also
is short a game, yes. So make sure they have 9 games.
You better
have 9 games against great quality competition too.
Yes,
against great quality competition too. Let's go from football to volleyball.
Yeah, let's talk volleyball.
Volleyball.
Wild end of the season.
Of course, we did have a Final Four team in the OAA. Of course, Lake Orion.
Surprise
back
team.
in the state final after the run they'd made.
It's still hard to believe that happened.
They knocked off Mount Pleasant, of course, in a 3-game sweep. The difference was Lake Orion attacked Mount Pleasant early often, and then Mount Pleasant did not adjust. But then when Lake Orion took on Lowell in Battle Creek, I mean, Lake Orion won the first game 25-17, and then Lowell basically all Lowell did was made an adjustment and basically moved their outside hitter. They moved their outside hitter and all over the place, and Lake Orion really just had no answer. Could not respond, and that ended up being your difference.
Yeah. So the final was Lowell and
Farmington with Mercy. Where Farmington with Mercy won that in 4 games.
Number 1 and number 2.
Yep.
Right. So nothing. And what was Lake Orion seeded rolling into?
They were honorable mention. They were an honorable mention, and that's
heck
the
of
thing.
a run.
That's the thing. When you really look at what this Lake Orion volleyball team did, getting by Clarks in the postseason, getting by Clarks.
That was the first.
Getting by Holly, Metro League Stride champ. Clark's an OA Red champ. Oxford, honorable mention. 5-game thriller.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get
Stony
in the
Creek
region.
on the road at Stony Creek.
On the road at Stony Creek, 9th-ranked team in the state. And then you get by West Bloomfield, OA Red representative. Then you get by Mount Pleasant, Saginaw Valley champion. Saginaw Valley League champion. I mean, like,
Wait, no reason.
Especially with the team that only has 3 seniors on this team, and the fact that you virtually lost everybody from last year.
Correct.
But it came down to something that you and I both talked about 2 weeks ago, was the kids have been there. You know what I mean? They watched that team win a state title last year. And especially when you look at the talent that they had. I mean, like, just incredible what Tony Scavardo has done.
Absolutely.
Just absolutely incredible.
If there's a coach of the year, he's got to get it.
He's got to get it. I mean, that's not even a question.
No. Coming in, I mean, expectations for that team here on the local level was just rebuilding, and hey, they'll do well. They always do well. I mean, you say a down year for Lake Orion is what, a loss in the second round of the playoffs, or something like that, or you're second in the OAA, whatever. Right? That's a down year.
But for them to get to the Final Four,
to do what they did, that is amazing.
This team only loses 3 seniors next year. They lose both Andrea's sisters and Olivia Irwin, and the bulk of that team is either juniors, sophomores, and 1 freshman.
Yeah. So they're going to be around.
They're going to be around. So when I look at the volleyball world next year,
do you think it's kind of like a Stony Creek situation? You got, young guys, right? I mean, think about it.
Think about it.
On the volleyball side of things.
Stony Creek this year, when I look at Stony Creek this year, they were very good this year.
Yeah.
They were one of my top teams I ranked to start the year. I mean, like, but, especially
loaded with seniors. But
they had a lot of experience. They only had 4 seniors.
Only
had 4 seniors, but the proven players they had on that team. Kate Straighton, of course, broke Stony Creek's all-time kills record. And now she's going to be leaving. And now you look at, yes, they got players coming back. They got players coming back. But the question's going to be is Stony Creek's going to have to find some talent, some play. I mean, like,
can they maintain?
I think they can maintain.
Because they've been knocking on the door for
I think they can maintain.
I
think Coach Ross Talbot can maintain. But the question's going to be is, they're going to have to replace a few key players from last year's team. And I thought this year would have been the run for Stony Creek. I thought this year would have been there.
A lot of people did.
A lot of people did, even myself. I mean, like, but, for them to lose like that against Lake Orion, they basically gave that 4th game away in that game. They gave that 4th game away. And I think a lot more of that was Lake Orion took it, and Stony Creek lost their mental mindset.
Well, I mean, the Dragons, we have that game. It's running on ONTV, by the way.
The Stony Creek game?
Yeah. It was broadcast. We have it.
At Stony Creek?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's on the channel. And I think it's on video on demand as well. OrionOnTV.org if you're interested. The Dragons, it was just one of those battles back and forth where it's like, who's going to have I hate to use a cliche, the intestinal fortitude to power on. And the Dragons just found that extra something to get by them.
But when you look at the rest of the state too, Lowell's going to be back.
Yes.
Farmington's Mercy will be okay next year. We know what Ann Arbor Skyline, they're still going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you look at other teams like Clarkston. I expect Clarkston to be solid next year, especially with Elena Warrington coming back, and then of course you add Claire Nowicki that fold. Kelly Penner's team's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Going to be all right next year. But when I look at the Class C OAA next year, I think it's Lake Orion. When you look at it.
Really?
I think it's Lake Orion. I mean, like, because you do have.
Well, they set the table.
Yeah, they set the table. You got 2 outside hitters come back, and Nina Horing, Lauren
Who's
Sterich.
the freshman?
Nina Horing is the freshman.
Everybody listening, if you haven't seen this hitter, watch out.
Yeah.
Just a freshman.
Yep. And then you have Lauren Sterich on the other. You have Lauren Sterich. You have Taylor Vukevich. You have Kendall Robertson. I mean, like, this team's going to be loaded. If they can find a proven libero next year, and I think that could be Jada McCauley, watch out. This team's going to be scary next year.
Yeah.
This Lake Orion team's going to be really scary.
Yeah.
When I look at the other teams next year, I'm curious to see another team I'm curious to see in the OA I'm watching for. I like where Adams is going. I like where Terry Bogman has that program going. But I'm watching Larry Vance's team of Bloomfield Hills next year because they lose Alexa Rousseau. I'm curious to see who that outside hitter is going to be over
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm really curious to see who that next great outside hitter is going to be. So,
yeah,
that's my thoughts on the volleyball docket.
Yeah, it was one of those playoffs that, or tournaments, we should call it tournament, not the playoffs. But the postseason for volleyball was just
It was incredible.
It was.
There were some upsets that people never thought would happen.
Well, you had upsets, but you also had some amazing matches. I mean, you had five setters that were within 2 points of each set.
Well, then you have 508 teams getting the regional. 508 teams made the regional. If you look at, of course, you have West Bloomfield, Stony Creek, Lake Orion. In Troy, and then Ferndale. Of course, Ferndale losing to Warren Regina in the semifinal. Really disappointed there, but Stella Johnson's team had a really good year over there.
But if you can get to the regionals,
that's a good year.
Absolutely,
you got a good year.
That's all you ask for.
That's all you got to ask for.
Get to the regionals, and then you have a shot at
maybe hosting the Big Mitten.
Absolutely,
hosting the Big Mitten. Speaking of the Big Mitten, got to congratulate the Seaholm girls swimming and diving team.
D2, right?
D2 state champions, knocked off Grosse Pointe South and Gropes. Great accomplishment for the Maples. I know it didn't work out well on the football field for them on that Saturday, but the swimming in the pool at Oakland University ended up working out really well for them.
Yeah, great Saturday for
Maples.
Yeah, absolutely, for Seaholm. Nice job.
Nice job for them. Now let's go.
What's next? Football's done.
Football's done.
Volleyball's done.
We got girls basketball. We got basketball season. We're getting the hay of basketball season.
We're turning the corner. The next season, right? Fall is done.
Winter is near.
Oh, the W.
Winter is here. Yes, it is.
Winter's coming. It's not coming. It's here.
It's here. I mean, you still got snow on the ground. You're going to likely get a huge wind shift on Wednesday. So.
Yeah, weather so far it's not so bad. Today's Monday, right? The 25th. Sun's out. Happy day. Good. Got to have sun on a Monday, man, to get you going, right?
Well, the wind part on Wednesday.
Wind's coming up, and some other storm systems coming in. So if you guys are out there traveling for the holidays, be careful. Absolutely. If you're flying, watch out for delays. They said all weekend long, the rest of the week.
It'll be interesting.
It's gonna be wild out there. So
be careful.
Watch out.
Be careful. Let's go to girls basketball. I can't believe we're talking girls basketball start the year.
I can't either. I mean, is there anything? I mean, nothing's really changed, right? No.
Well, there is some storylines.
We've talked about transfers and things, and usually it has to do with basketball. I hate to bring it up again. But the new rule is in place.
Yes.
It's kind of doing its thing.
It kind of keeps its thing.
And we haven't really heard any rumblings so far.
No rumblings so far, which is good. No rumblings so far behind the scenes.
Yep.
So let's look at...
Yeah, what do you got, Sammy?
Let's look at the blue division first.
Okay.
We're going to preview the blue here. I will send the blog article out this weekend on girls basketball. Heading in the year, but my early top 10, I like to announce it this year.
Okay. You
have
it ready?
I have it ready.
You're on top of it, Sam.
Yep. My number 10 team to start off is the Troy Colts. My number 9 team is the Lake Orion Dragons. Actually, take it back. The Berkeley Bears, number 9.
Okay.
Number 8, Lake Orion Dragons. Number 7, Stony Creek Cougars. Number 6, the Rochester Adams Highlanders.
Ooh.
Number 5.
Top 5.
Yep, my top 5. Goodness, my brain's all gone already.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. So work with me here. I'm going to go my top 5 to start, okay? I've already announced my top 6. Number 1 to start off the year is Southfield, Arts Tech Warriors.
Okay.
Number 2, West Bloomfield, Lakers. Okay. Number 3, I'm going to say is the Avondale Yellow Jackets.
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness.
You got your phone?
No, I don't. And I don't have it on me right now. Anyway.
So we almost got it.
Who's left? Who's left? Oh, actually, take that back. I got Oxford ranked as well.
Okay.
Got Oxford ranked. And my other one, I got to figure that out. Oh, it'll come to me.
See, it's early in the season.
It's early in the season. My brain is.
It's hard
to figure out things.
It's hard to change.
Hard
gears.
to change gears. It's hard.
We've been talking football,
but basketball
so much,
is hard. Basketball can be hard.
It's hard to pick because there's so many. The teams, you get 5 starters, right?
Yeah.
And then some of the teams have other moving parts that can be, but there's
really
a lot of mysteries. There's a lot of mysteries to these teams.
Yeah.
And what you see on paper does not usually translate.
No, it doesn't.
Because you never know who's going to step up. You get a freshman out of nowhere doing whatever, and you got slumping senior or whatever, right?
Let's look at the blue first. When I look at the blue,
yeah. What do you got?
These are the teams I do have already.
Okay.
The favorite, in my opinion, has to be Berkeley. Berkeley's got a lot of players back for Coach Kirk Carolyn. They won 16 games last year. But the question's going to be, and I was really, really pleased that they toughened up their non-conference.
Yeah.
That's what made me really happy with Berkeley was they toughened up their non-conference. They got to play Macomb, Dakota in the year. They got a lot back. I'm really high on this Berkeley team. If there's another team I'm watching too, it's Rochester. Rochester shared the blue with Berkeley last year. Yes, they got a new coach in Bill Thurston. I seen Rochester play at the scrimmage.
Oh.
At a scrimmage on Saturday. They look really good. I like where this team is at. Rochester's the team, veteran-laden, senior heavy.
Which is always a coach's.
It's a coach's
puts
dream.
A smile on the coach's face.
Right, but for Rochester, it's the fourth coach in 4 years.
Yeesh.
So, but I'm curious to see where this Rochester team's going to be at. The other two to keep an eye on the blue are Seaholm and Farmington. Farmington comes down from the white after a miserable year in the white a year ago. Seaholm, I'm curious to see under Coach Chris Manchester. He's got a lot of talent back. That's another team to watch is Seaholm. Then, of course, you have Ferndale, who's got a new coach down there. And then you have Pontiac. I'm curious to see what Pontiac's going to be. And then, of course, you have Oak Park. So when I look at a favorite has to be Berkeley. Rochester be right there. But it wouldn't surprise me if Rochester beats Berkeley for the blue title this year.
Okay.
I really like what the program is over there at Rochester is this year.
All right.
The white division could be really interesting.
Shaking your head already?
There's so much parity in this division. There's so much parity in the white.
Okay.
It's not even funny. Because, the early favorite has to be Avondale with who they got back. You look at players like Reagan Lawrence, Kiri Lee, Tania Washington, Brea Benyon. Coach Bob Lees has got a system in place down there at Avondale. But the question's going to be is, how is your depth situation?
Yeah.
How is your bench going to look? How is
yeah.
everything going to look over there at Avondale? That's the big question.
Yeah.
And then you have Rochester Adams. You look at Adams. They got a lot of experience back for Coach Jay Lewis, who just went to a district final last year. You got players like Maddie Delinga back. You got others in that fold too. You look at Nicole Clarehout. The question for Adams for me is the interior. That's gonna be the big question for me. How is their inside game gonna look? That's the big question there.
And that could be the question for a lot of teams. And we've talked about it last year. About having a big that can take up space, and so teams aren't one dimensional.
Right.
Right. If you can find that reliable big that can give you a variety on the offensive side of the ball, plus some defense.
Yeah, that'll be huge.
Then it always pays dividend.
And then you got to look at a team like Oxford, who works their tail off every year for Coach Rachel Breyer. They got a lot of talent coming back. They got a lot of hardworking talent coming back. And then you look at Troy. Troy, they've got some players to get to know a lot. Yes, they lose Emily Olson, but you got players like Dina Sampson back. You also look at Rita Tarosky coming back. You look at Jessica Chen, who's back. You look at and I'm curious to see where Troy's going to look this year. Especially you got some good guards like Lauren Hammer, Kayla Rutledge is going to be really good as well.
Okay.
for them. Charlotte Tabaka is another one to watch. Ashley Matsua is another one to keep an eye on for Troy. I mean, like, I like where this Colt team is this year for Coach Simon Botto. Of course, Troy Athens got a lot of players back. Of course, you look at players like Grace Bright, Abby Bright, just some players. It's a Monday, so got me some slack.
Hey,
here.
That's okay.
Yep. And then North Farmington coming down from the red to the white. They got Maya Kelly and Molly Simpson back. Lake Orion.
So coming down, do you think that they have usually, does it give them an edge?
Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not.
We've seen like Oxford and those shuffling of the teams around have paid dividends.
Paid dividends in the white, you
Yeah.
know. And then you got to look at Lake Orion as well. I mean, like, you know, when you look at the Dragons, young team for a second straight year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're gonna have some struggles early, but when they do, I think watch out for this team in the second half of January.
Okay.
Because when they get back from the Christmas break, I think Lake Orion's going to be rolling.
Okay.
Watch out for that.
The health bug for the Dragons over the last couple of years, 3 years, has always been just brutal.
Yes,
for that club.
It has been brutal.
So you're hoping to stay healthy.
Stay healthy, and everything will work itself out. That's what I'm dealing with Lake Orion and Coach Bob Bridges' team. Stay healthy, and everything will work itself out. Let's go to the red now. Southfield Arts and Tech last year went to state final, lost to Saginaw Heritage. Heritage was really good last year.
Yes.
I mean, they had a girl by the name of Moira Joyner on that team. Of course, when you look at A&T, they do lose. They lose two very good players to Division I schools. And Alexis Barnes and Solomon. And then they lost another one too. Alexis Johnson. They lost.
Yeah.
They lost her. Soda Barnes and Alexis Johnson. Those are the two they lost.
Are they reloading?
That's the question.
Or is it,
they do have a Miss Basketball
rebuilding?
Candidate. They do have a Miss Basketball candidate on that team in Shy McEvans.
That doesn't hurt.
No, it does not.
Because players that are that caliber,
Mhm.
sometimes they can act as two. I
Of
mean, the way teams will key on them, double team, leave people open. It changes the whole
It does,
scheme
but then you
of
have
how you go against it.
It does, but you also have a big in Jasmine Worthy, and then of course Kiana Willis there as well. So when you look at
they're pretty well rounded.
They're pretty well rounded, but they don't really have much of a bench. That's a big concern for me. For Coach Michelle Marshall's team, they really don't have much of a bench, and they don't really have that type of. They're not the same team they were last year. Let's just put it that way.
Well, yeah.
They got a tough schedule, but to be honest with you, this is not the same team they were last year.
Yeah.
West Bloomfield is a team I'm watching very carefully, because the Lakers have a lot of talent back. You look at what West Bloomfield has for Coach Burt Mosley, Maya Bobo. You look at
seems like she's
Logan
been there
Lewis.
forever.
She's a senior. You got Logan Lewis. You got Lola Chambers. I mean, like, these are some players to get used to for West Bloomfield.
Yeah.
They are athletic. They're talented. It wouldn't surprise me this year if West Bloomfield overtakes Southfield. It really wouldn't surprise me. They won a district title last year. Unfortunately for them, they lost to Heartland last year in the regional semis. They were outmatched. Heartland's a very good team. They're still going to be good again this year. Of course, led by their Michigan-bound big Whitney Solomon.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see what West Bloomfield does this year. It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Another team to watch for is the Royal Oak Ravens. Royal Oak, they lost a lot of talent a year ago. Sarah Stronghannon is their only true starter, true playmaker back this year for Royal Oak. I mean, but Brian Zapata's going to be really interesting to keep an eye on. It'll be really interesting to see. But the team I'm really watching, and I think this was one I really got confused on, was Clarkston.
Oh, yeah.
The Clarkston Wolves.
Of all the teams.
To confuse my top 10 to start the year.
That's funny.
It's Clarkston. Because I actually ranked Clarkston third.
Okay.
My top 10 to start the year actually was Southfield, West Bloomfield, Clarkston.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Avondale. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got them.
Yeah. Clarkson's going to be loaded this year. They're going to be loaded.
Aren't they always?
Last year they had one starter back, and they started off 0-5 playing a tough schedule.
Yeah,
that tells you something where this team's been. And I've seen Clarkson play all summer. They are very good. They got a ton of experience on that team. There's a lot of impactful players. They'll make some noise on that team.
Yeah.
Watch out for this team. Watch out for Clarkson. They're going to be good. They're going to be in the thick of that. Thick of the red race this year. Watch out for them.
Yeah.
Next we got is the Stony Creek Cougars. Coach Kellen James' team. You got 3 players who I'm really high on. Lily DePanny, Sydney LaPrairie, and Devin Valls. There's a reason why Stony Creek is probably going to be, I would call Stony Creek this year the Rodney Dangerfield of girls basketball.
No respect?
No.
Really?
I have a ton of respect for Kellen James. But that's a team that is, I would call Stony Creek, to be honest with you, Jabberjaw. Jabberjaw. Because you know how Jabberjaw has this thing that says no respect?
Yes.
Come on. Stony Creek's gotten a lot of respect. You know what I mean? Stony Creek has gotten they've been an under-the-radar team for years now. They have been under the radar. So keep an eye on this team.
Okay.
Keep an eye on this team. I've got high hopes for Stony Creek this year. I've got high hopes this year.
We
had Kellen James on this podcast.
Think they can challenge?
I think they're middle of the pack right now.
Okay.
But they could surprise them.
But if you're not ready, they could
come back.
clip
And
your heels.
They got a brutal schedule to open up the year. They got to play Harperwood, Shaler Park Academy. That's a tough matchup. And then you got Lake Orion. That's another tough matchup.
And when do the games get going? I think
December the 3rd. They start next week. And then you look at, and that's not even counting Groves. Groves has Ellie Rupert back, Mia Yarberry back, and then you have Bloomfield Hills. Jeff Rubenstein lost a lot of talent from a year. Well, they lost some talent, and but they got some back as well. So I'm curious to see where Jeff Rubin's team's going to be at right now. When I look at teams that could make a deep postseason run this year, I would think West Bloomfield. I really like where this team's at. I think West Bloomfield can make a serious run.
All right.
I think Southfield's got a really tough district. I mean, you have Birmingham Marion in that district as well for Southfield for them to have to deal with. And people are going to say either Troy or Stony Creek can make a run in their district when they get in the postseason. Maybe a team, but I think if there's a team that can have a deep playoff run, it's West Bloomfield.
Okay.
That's a team I'm watching carefully. And we're not even talking boys basketball yet.
No.
And we know where that's going. But if there's a surprise team, if there's a team to watch all year, a team to watch in the OA all year, in the red, I would be watching Clarkson carefully. The white, I would watch Lake Orion carefully.
Oh.
And then the blue, I would watch Seaholm. Because those are teams that can make some serious dents in league races this year.
Okay.
I think those are teams that can make some serious dents.
When are you publishing your
I will post it this weekend.
Okay.
I will post it this weekend. It'll have a lot of players, a lot of talented players on there.
Cool.
We'll see what happens going forward.
Always a good article.
Oh, that's, if you always read my blogs, I posted this week on the week 13 recap about what happened for Seaholm against Joy Martin King. Let's look at your thoughts heading into your thoughts heading into Thanksgiving weekend.
Thanksgiving weekend, just
football,
in general.
Football, hanging out with family.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Thanksgiving by far is my favorite holiday because there's no stress of presents and running around, right? Christmas, right?
Right.
This is more getting together with your family members, hanging around, watching some football, eating some good meals.
It's kind of hard when you're watching the Lions.
I didn't mention saying that I'm going to watch the Lions.
Oh, sure.
But the great thing about this time of year is it kind of gets you ready for, Christmas and that sort of thing. But I love Thanksgiving. Get together. At my household, we're just going to have family over. cooking some turkey, all of our favorite dishes, and just sitting around and visiting and have a good time. Probably watch the Lions.
Yeah.
But also, looking forward to the weekend. We'll have I think I get 2 Thanksgivings this year. Going to my in-laws. They're going to be cooking on Sunday. We're going to watch Michigan, Ohio State. Always should be.
Michigan State, Maryland.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, I've compartmentalized my stress, so the Spartans are off to the side.
Well, I'm gonna
until they pick a new head coach.
I'm gonna watch Michigan. I'm gonna watch.
I'll watch it.
I'm gonna watch the Division I final with Davidson and.
Yes, I'm gonna have high school football
Brighton.
on.
That'll be a good game. That'll be a really good game.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. So, what about yourself, there, Sam?
I'm gonna watch the high school game with Davidson Brighton. Going to keep an eye on a lot of things heading into the weekend. I'm going to also keep an eye on the high school dockets, of course, especially in the basketball ranks.
Getting your turkey on?
Yeah.
Or ham. Some people, are you a turkey or a ham guy?
I'm a ham guy. I'm not
really?
a turkey guy.
You're a ham guy?
I'm a ham guy.
Oh, I can't. No. I have to have turkey.
Come on.
Come on, dude. I can do ham around the Christmas time.
Yeah.
But I got to have my turkey.
Of course.
Have to.
But I got to have my football, too.
Yes.
I got to have my football.
I do.
The things I'm looking forward to this winter, of course, we got other sports to talk about, too. We got competitive cheerleading starting to get underway.
Hockey's underway. I think a game was Lake Orion. I think had a game last week.
Lake Orion had a couple games last week, but I think when you look at hockey, you got to keep an eye on Birmingham. You got to keep an eye on Bloomfield Hills.
We'll be out there. ONTV will be out there grabbing some of them games. We'll be live streaming those and be playing them.
Oxford, Avondale are combined this year, so we'll see what happens.
They are.
We'll see what happens going forward. My final thoughts of the week. Enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Absolutely.
And see you all next week, everybody.
See you, Sam. Have fun with your ham and your football.
Thank you.
Oaa Now is produced by Sammy Terramina. The views on this show are his and his alone. Like to produce your own podcast, give us a call at ONTV at 248-393-1060. Visit OrionOnTV.org for more information about ONTV, the classes we offer, and a variety of other things, including our program schedule and our video-on-demand library with a host of high school games from all across the OAA. That's it for this edition of Oaa Now. See you next week. See ya!